Paul in Stanton, Texas, listening on Sirius Satellite Radio. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind?
Well, Tom, I was just wondering exactly what the point is of the income disparity issue.
Well, in other words, why do I care?
Have a little bit of money, work for it, and make it, and earn it, and it's theirs. And if you can't, for whatever reason, you don't have as much. No,
actually, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. You're very wrong. What we have in the United States right now is a system where if you are born into a wealthy family or you are born with a lot of money, you will see your wealth increase dramatically and rapidly. And if you are born poor, you will find it harder than it has been in 80 years to move up into the middle class. And I mean, there's some truth to, yes, people work hard and they make some money, but the fact of the matter is that more and more people in the United States are working their butts off. You've got people who are, two wage earner families who are making less money now than a single wage earner family was making before Ronald Reagan became president. Reaganomics fundamentally changed the rules of the system. And by not enforcing the Sherman Act, by cutting the top tax rate from 74% down to 28%, by carving out a separate tax rate for millionaires and billionaires like Mitt Romney and Paris Hilton, the net, and by waging a war on labor, the net of this is that working people don't see the return from their labors, and the investor class is doing better than they have ever done in the history of the world.
Okay, so explain to me how, in my experience in my life, where I've worked, I just have a high school education. I'm not highly educated. I've worked my butt off, but I've got things. I have money. I have income. I have.
Good on you. What's your net worth right now?
What's my net worth right now? About $400,000.
Yeah,
give or take.
Well, I would submit to and your annual income.
About 80,000.
About 80,000. Okay, you're doing okay. Good on you, Paul. I would submit to you that had Reaganomics not happened, right now your net worth would be closer to $1 million, which is really, according to most investment advisors, the minimum that you need to retire, and that your annual income would probably be around $160,000. Because if wages had kept up with productivity, like they did from the George Washington administration until the Ronald Reagan administration. In other words, as workers made more money for their employers, the employers paid those workers more. If wages had kept up with productivity like they did during the first 200 years of the history of this country, since 1980, right now, somebody who in 1980 was earning minimum wage, which in 1980 was what, $3 or $4 an hour, would be making $22 an hour right now. If wages had kept up with productivity. But wages haven't kept up with productivity. Instead, there's been a huge gap. And the result of that is that the average wage now is about the exact same place it was in 1980 in inflation-adjusted dollars, whereas productivity has gone up over, well over 100%. And the consequence of that is that all that money has been taken by really rich people. Yes?
What I see is people who are willing to work and manage their resources, manage their money. I mean, don't get me wrong. I work 65 hours a week, sometimes more than that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. What kind of debt do you have, Paul?
Huh?
What kind of debt do you have?
What kind of debt do I have? I have about $7,000 or $8,000 in credit card debt, and I own a home that I have a debt on about $150,000.
Yeah. Okay. Net is like you should be doing so much better.
I'm doing that bad.
Well, no, I don't think you're doing that bad. And good luck to you, and good luck on it. I'm telling you, had you been born, I'm guessing when you were born, the family that you were born into, your parents were literate?
Yes, they were literate.
Okay. So had you been born into a family where your parents weren't literate, you wouldn't be anything close to where you are right now.
I don't know. I lived in a house with a tin roof, and the wind blew through the floorboards in the wintertime.
Yeah, but you had literacy going for you. You had, in all probability, the color of your skin going for you. You had, and you've worked hard and you've gotten here. But like I said, the Walton, you've got 5 Waltonaires who own more wealth than the bottom 30% of Americans and don't work at all. Does that seem right to you?
Oh, but their daddy or granddaddy or whoever he was busted his butt to get him there.
Their daddy cut a deal with China. China said, we want to figure out how to...
But you don't think that he did anything in to earn that wealth? It just fell into his lap?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all. I think Sam Walton worked really hard. And God bless him, he worked really hard. But to leave so much wealth to your children that they own a third of all the wealth in America? Seriously? You think that's reasonable?
What's Bill Gates going to do when he dies?
Well, I don't know, but his wealth is nothing compared to the Walton family. This is the largest employer in the United States.
He was actually ranked right up there until they decided to start.
And again, Bill Gates. I mean, Bill Gates wouldn't be where he was if it wasn't for American welfare laws called copyright laws. And then his company has advocated for changes in those laws consistently over and over and over again that would make Microsoft more and more money. Plus, they have fought the laws that would allow small companies to compete with them, the antitrust laws, that prevented them from being enforced. So, I see Bill Gates as a welfare queen. I see the Walton family. They're sitting around, they're paying the maximum income tax that they're going to pay right now is 20%. And they probably figured out ways to pay virtually nothing like Mitt Romney does. And people like you are working your butts off for 60, 70, 80,000 bucks a year. That's nothing, Paul. That's nothing. You should be making a cut. If you're a smart guy and you're willing to work for 65 hours a week and you've made some significant contribution, you should be making 100 to 150,000 bucks a year. You should be doing a whole lot better than you are. And I'm telling you, the reason why you're not is because this Reaganomics experiment has failed us. It has failed you, Paul. It has failed all of us. And tragically, it has left over 40 million people without health insurance. It has left the largest proportion of the American workforce, almost half of all Americans, functionally living below the poverty line. Over 45% of all Americans have nothing, have no net worth. It used to be, the bottom 47% at least had a net worth of $15,000 on average. Now it's zero. We have seen over the last 32 years the largest transfer of money from the middle class, working class folks to the very rich that we have ever seen in the history, literally in the history of America.